don't really have a topic, but I could definitely find one. Oh my God, how is work treating you? What in the fuck? Lord, they going in on that Slim Kim girl. I'm just trying to figure out what the controversy is. And I heard that they mass reported all of her videos, and then she got kicked out of the TikTok Creator Fund. But I'm just so confused as to what's going on. Like, what did she say to get to piss off so many people? Maybe, you know what? Let me. But you know, one thing I've come to realize about people on this app, a lot of people are snowflakes. A lot of people really, like, even a lot of black people, like, it's like if you don't like somebody's take, just, you know, just disagree with them and just, keep it moving. But to be mass reporting people, trying to get people kicked out of the TikTok Creator Fund, and all because she says she just likes being skinny. Is that? I mean, that can't be the reason why she got kicked. I mean, that really, honestly, cannot be the reason why people are going in on her. Please tell me there has to be something more than that. Like, there has to be something more than that. I can't imagine that people are going that crazy. I like being skinny too. uh, me three head Quan, where you at? We don't count the money no more. We wait. Rich game, millions and billions. You dig? I don't know what that means, but okay. More power to you. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. It's easy for me because I don't have an emotional attachment to food. I'll tell you what most people's issues is. And I think it's even something that I have dealt with. I don't think it's the emotional attachment. I just think that a lot of people eat very shitty diets and they get addicted to fast food. And I think they get addicted to like ultra processed foods. Believe it or not, um, and I forgot which scientist talked about this, but there's this pervasive myth that cavemen, if we were to take ancient hunter gatherers from the Neolithic period and put them in today's modern food environment, that they wouldn't recognize the food and they wouldn't eat it. And that's not true at all. Like, apparently, ancient human beings, if you were to put them in a modern supermarket, they would not stop eating. They would just keep devouring food left and right. Um, the human brain is designed to force human beings to just hunt and look for food all day long. The reason why most people, a lot of people are overweight is because the environment is just overflushed with food. Like, there was a time when like, even just 50 years ago, you would not be able to just go to like a fast food restaurant and just get whatever you want to get. Like, I'm actually kind of hungry, right? And there was a part of me that was like, damn, maybe you should go get something to eat, right? But I really had to fight off that temptation, and I went and I realized, okay, I got some little diet soda in my what do you call it? In my in the back of my trunk, because I just got out the gym and call it. in my in the back of my trunk because I just got out the gym and shit. But I'm telling you, it's none of that. It's the food in of itself is hyper palatable. It's addictive, and there's too much of it that is easily accessible. Like right now, if I just want, like, there's literally a 7-Eleven down the street, and it's just you get a bag of chips, candy, whatever, cookies, whatever you want. Go right into that 7-Eleven, literally right there. There's a McDonald's right down this way. There's a Taco Bell down this way. A White Castle. Like, then there's what do you call it? There's a diner. There's just so many damn restaurants all over the motherfucking place that you could just easily go at any time of the day and go and get food. And I really do believe that is what's keeping people fat, because rather than just suck it up and just eat until the next day, they go and they just go off an impulse. They just literally will hop in their car or get on DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever, and just eat. And the problem is, and this is something else too that a lot of people don't realize, with when you consume a lot of fast food and ultra processed foods, your brain now gets adapted to that type of food over normal food. And so even when you're presented with like a more healthier option, the brain doesn't want that. It wants the fattier, more sugary version of whatever it is that you're eating. So all this, the when people talk about emotional attachments to food, and it's psychological trauma, it's this, it's that. That's a bunch of bullshit. It is. That probably might be the case for a small percentage of people, but listen, 70% of U.S. adults are considered overweight and or obese. That is not emotional attachments. That's just the modern food supply in America is essentially poison. Like, you're eating food that is, um, it's just toxic. It's garbage. And the thing is, the government has the power to regulate it, but they're not going to do it because they're lobbied. Like, you guys got to understand something. These food companies want you all to think that, oh, you just need to go to therapy. You have an emotional attachment to food. If you can't eat these things in moderation, there's something wrong with you. But here's the thing. You can't eat them in moderation because they're designed to be deliberately addictive. Think about that for a second. They're trying to tell you that you can eat ultra processed food that's filled with all types of additives and flavorings and artificial ingredients. You can eat that type of food in moderation. No, you can't. It's deliberately, and this is the funny thing. They deliberately designed the food to be hyper addictive to keep you eating more and more and more of it. I can't just have one cookie and I want the whole. Right, you was going to eat one fucking Oreo. There are people out there, they buy a whole thing. They will buy a pack of Oreos, and before you know it, the whole pack is gone. Or half the pack is gone. They just ate like 1,200 calories worth of. I'm telling you, it's not self-control. It's not. It's not any of that. It's not a lack of discipline. It's not lack of self-control. It's not any of that. That is the narrative that that the fast food corporations and multinational corporations try to spin to deflect from what the real issue is, and the issue is the food supply in of itself. And there's studies on this too. It's a plethora of studies that it is essentially the modern food supply, the food environment. It is why people are overweight, and you see this in other countries too. You see this especially in the Middle East. The Middle East right now has one of the worst obesity epidemics. And you're talking about a heavily religious society. Why are they struggling with food addiction in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait? It's not, I'm telling you, it is not an issue of self-control or discipline. It is the food corporations themselves. They literally are, it's way too accessible. I'm telling you. It is no different than having a dispensary for drugs or for alcohol, well, for whatever on the corner. I'm not going to say the M word, but it is essentially no different than having a liquor store on every corner, a dispensary on every corner. But it's imagine. But here's the thing: you have to eat, and that is the danger behind all this. Is that human beings have to eat. But if the easiest and most convenient thing to do is like in Saudi Arabia, for instance, now people need to learn how to eat for their bodies. No, I'm telling you, it's not any of that. I'm telling you, none of these issues existed 50 years ago. Why all of a sudden is this an issue? Think about this for a second. You all are just parroting the same talking points of the corporations that are trying to deflect from the fact that they literally are poisoning the food environment. This obesity, diabetes was not a thing in 19 fucking 50. It wasn't. When you look at the stats, it literally correlates with just a mass proliferation of fast food restaurants all over the place. And the numbers just keep going up and up and up and up. Because why everybody is leaning to Europe? Oh, let me tell you the reason why. Because that's something else too. It's city design. See, something else that doesn't get talked about is in America, most cities are not walkable. See, when you live in Europe, right? People keep thinking, oh, well, the food is healthier, the food is better. Actually, it's not true. The Europeans, they literally import in most of their grains and food ingredients from where? The United States. Why is this an issue in the United States and not necessarily in Europe? Because also they get way more physical activity because their cities by default are way more walkable. Most of the cities in Europe have higher population densities than your average American city. You go to Texas right now, you can't just walk Houston or Dallas. No, you got to drive everywhere. Yeah, I think people have it twisted. Yeah, I'm telling you, it is not made healthier and for the market. I'm telling you, it's not. It's the same thing. Now, the other thing is they have more regulations. I'm telling you, listen, if you talk to any person who works in obesity prevention, they already know what the issue is. It's not anything that is a matter of individual responsibility or self-control. These are all talking points of the right wing, of conservatives. It is literally the food supply. Literally. Literally the food supply. These multinational corporations, and look, they don't cook their food in the same oils as we do. That's not true either. In fact, that's another big myth. It's about like with seed oils and stuff. The seed oils are not even bad for you. I'm telling you, the problem is it is just the sheer amount of restaurants and just we have an insane amount of access to food that is just unparalleled than any other time in human history. Like you can literally go to a gas station and buy food. You go to a convenience store, 7-Eleven, like if you live in a major city like Chicago, I can tell you right now, I can literally drive to at least 100 restaurants within a 5-mile radius that I can just go get something to eat right now. That was not, let me tell you, even as a kid, McDonald's never stayed open 24 hours. You think we eat more sugar than other countries? We do. Americans on average eat more. Americans eat on average about I think it's about 3,700 calories a day, and the average Japanese person only eats about 2,700. Portion sizes play a huge role too, but what I'm also saying is that, but this goes back to what I'm saying, that in European countries they have way more regulations. It's not even just necessarily the food ingredients. They just have more regulations, and plus it's just not. But what I'm ultimately saying is it's about the accessibility of food, though. It is very easy to go and get food. And then the amount of food advertising, the billboards, the TV commercials, like it is so bad. There was discussions about banning what do you call it? I think this happened during the Obama administration. And keep in mind, guys, you want to hear something that's crazy? It was the Obama administration that had to put the pressure on fast food corporations in order to what do you call it? In order to disclose the amount of calories on their food. And you know they're lying. You know this, right? They are lying. And obesity, people want to make it seem like it's an American thing. It is not. I am telling you, obesity is a problem in a lot of countries other than America. It's just not an American phenomenon. The global obesity rates are rising every year. When you look at what's happening in the Middle East especially, it is insane. So it is not just some people like to hyperfixate on it's always an American thing. It's an American thing. It's not. It's happening all over the world because it's multinational corporations. This is what the point that I'm trying to make. They literally are popping up restaurants, fast food restaurants all over the motherfucking place. We fat over here in Canada too. I don't know what the obesity rates are in Canada, but I can imagine that they're probably not too far off from America. And then when you live in a modernized Western society, you're not getting nearly as much physical activity um, compared to what people got 50 or 60 years ago. People working office jobs. You know, I was reading this crazy stat. In 1940, only 9% of the U.S. population was considered diabetic. Now it's like 40 or 50% in America. I'm telling you, that is the restaurants. Lack of physical activity. It is literally, and listen, it should be no surprise that there's also a massive rise in chronic illnesses. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all these things are all intricately linked. And the government knows this, but they're heavily lobbied by major multinational corporations. I don't think you all understand that these companies literally belong to trade associations that spend tens of millions of dollars a year sending the most powerful lobbyists to Washington, D.C. to stop certain pieces of legislation from being proposed. And sometimes they're there, right there, working hand in hand with the politicians, crafting legislation. Being skinny is the upper signal again, like it was in the 90s. Yeah, but here's the thing: you being skinny don't mean nothing if you ain't got no money. Autoimmune diseases and a lot of processed foods and sugars are inflammatory. Yeah, but you know, a lot of autoimmune diseases are actually linked to a lack of physical activity. You'd be surprised to know that a lot of like physical activity actually downregulates a lot of pro-inflammatory molecules in your body. But all these cancers, autoimmune issues, diabetes, heart disease, cancers, I'm telling you, it's the combination of the food supply. It, and then also it's the lack of physical activity. And I would argue, to be honest with you, you are actually better off being way more physically active than going so crazy with your diet. Because that's something else that doesn't get talked about enough. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I actually think, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say something. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people when I say this. But the more I've been doing some reading, the more I realize I think most people are screwed. If you're working a regular 9 to 5 job and you're sitting down all day long, you're it's just an automatic setup for you not to get in the maximal amount of physical activity that you need to be getting in every day. Like, you're not supposed to be sitting down all day long. You're supposed to be on your feet all day long, walking around. And the modern work environment is not compatible with that. All the mobility problems that people have. I'm saying this to say that uh, a lot of people should be exercising every day, all day long, right? At least getting in at least 2 to 3 hours of like physical activity. And most people, on average, only get in like no more than like an hour to 2 hours a week. So when you look at ancient human societies, ancient human hunter-gatherers, they were literally getting anywhere between 2 to 3 hours of physical exercise a day. I do walking, but it's mostly diet that keeps me thin. It's not just a matter about being thin. I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been doing a lot of research on this. Exercise is something that it's not just about staying in shape and staying lean. There are a whole cascade of other health benefits that come along with physical exercise. Like your cardiovascular conditioning, like your VO2 max. I don't know if you know what your VO2 max is, but like your cardiovascular health, your endothelial function, which is like the pretty much the health of the lining of your arteries and your veins, your blood vessels, um, and also with resistance training, it keeps you what do you call it, sensitive to insulin. It keeps you. Um, I mean, I could just go down the whole list. You have to do both. You got to eat like a healthy diet, and you got to exercise. You got to exercise for about 2 to 3 hours a day. A combination of whether it's walking, doing like moderate intensity cardio, weightlifting, and the average person doesn't have the time to commit to that. It's almost a setup, to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that shit is a setup. That shit is a setup. Like, if you're working a normal office job, there's no way in hell you are going to get in the optimal amount of physical activity. Then you also got to deal with age-related sarcopenia. You either prioritize your health or you don't. I don't think most people deliver. I think a lot of people would if they knew just all of, and I think if they had more time, which I think also speaks to the fact that when you live in this very hyper-competitive capitalistic society, and you got people out here having to work 50, 60 hours a week, then you got kids. It's a setup. You don't know. It's not just a matter of soda. No, that's not the issue. That is not the issue. The issue is, I'm telling you what the issue is. I'm telling you, these multinational fast food corporations, people are relying on eating out all the time, because another thing is a lot of people just don't have the time to cook. I don't believe in this whole argument of discipline anymore. I think that is something that I've moved beyond. I think this idea of just, oh, you lack willpower, self-control. No, that shit doesn't work. That's not. You're asking the average American who has the reading, uh, who's reading at a grade level of a sixth grader to, yeah, no, that shit. I'm telling you, it's a setup. It's a setup. We still have to do our due diligence somehow, though, because corporations continue to do their thing. Yeah, but here's the thing. Well, how do you do that with a population of people who are essentially ignorant? Like, you really think, one thing I have come to realize, a lot of us live in a bubble. Listen, the average American is stupid as fuck. A lot of people are not educated. A lot of people barely have a high school education. So imagine trying to get people like this to understand just basic human physiology, basic human biology, even just basic human nutrition. A lot of people don't even know. I can tell you right now, y'all probably don't even know how many calories is in 1 gram of carbohydrate. Tell me, how many calories is in 1 gram of carbohydrate? How many calories is in 1 gram of protein? How many calories is in 1 gram of fat? What are the different types of fat? You know the difference between saturated fat and polyunsaturated fats, and you know the difference between omega-3s and omega-6s and omega-9s? What are the food sources that are abundant in omega-3s? What food sources are abundant in omega-6s? You know all the B vitamins? You know all your B vitamins? Do you know your fat soluble vitamins versus your water soluble vitamins? I bet y'all don't know this shit. Tell me. You know how many do you know how many do you know all the different types of electrolytes? You know all the different types of electrolytes? You know the difference between sodium and potassium and calcium and magnesium and the amount of sodium you're supposed to what the recommended daily allowance is for sodium. A lot of people don't even know that the recommended daily allowance of sodium is like capped at around 2,300 milligrams a day, or 2.3 grams. You think the average person is actually paying attention to that shit? The average person don't even know. They ain't looking at. The average person doesn't know that you should be getting in no more roughly than 20 grams of saturated fat a day. People are not paying attention to this shit. I'm telling you. They don't even have the intellectual bandwidth and the mental bandwidth. But you know what junk food is? Everyone does. Yeah, but it's not even just the junk food, though. It's not even just the junk food. I'm telling you, it is just the excessive consumption of calories, period. Even if you go out and you go to a restaurant right now, uh, you go to I don't know, Texas. What's the name of that place? Texas Roadhouse. You think people are tracking? Oh, I had a ribeye. I had a 8 ounce ribeye and some mashed potatoes, and technically that's not ultra processed food. That's not technically eating McDonald's is not ultra processed. Like you eating a hamburger from McDonald's. Now the hamburger bun might be ultra processed, but the meat, the cheese, the ketchup, the onion, the pickle, like not everything. You'd be surprised to know that most people are getting fat, and why they're fat is because they're just over consuming like calorie dense restaurant food, and I'm telling you, these restaurants are lying. I went to Dunkin' Donuts earlier to get some coffee, right, and I saw that they had a new menu item, almond croissants, and I tried one today, right, because I was kind of curious. I got it, and on the menu it said it was only 330 calories. I started eating it. I'm like, there's no way in hell this is only 330 calories. I don't believe this. This is more like 500 calories. So I tracked it as 500 calories. But that is not no damn 330 calories. I'm telling you, these restaurants are fucking lying. They're not being completely honest about their nutrition data. They're not. I'm telling you. So a lot of people have no other choice sometimes to eat but to eat out because they're always on the go. They're working. They got kids. They got all these responsibilities. Man, I'm telling you, saying restaurants are lying to crazy. No, I'm telling you, they are. Yes, the fuck they are. Yes. And they're allowed to lie. Literally, they disclose this as an asterisk on the bottom of the nutrition labels. They will tell you, literally, that, well, technically, we could, like, I'm gonna read some of these disclaimers to you. Because they really protect themselves to they could be off by as much as 20% exactly. Yes, a lot of people don't know that. I'm telling you, they don't have to like they are lying, and they know this. And it's a game. The New York Times, man, we all know that shit isn't healthy, but there's a lie about. Uh, I think that's I think you can't say it's not healthy or it's not. I think that's a misnomer. I think you're just throwing all the restaurants into one category, one bracket. If you go to Chipotle, right, um, and you get a bowl, and you do all the calculations on their website, you were in your mind you're thinking that, well, I just got some rice, beans, some meat, some other toppings, whatever. I mean, they market themselves as healthy fast food. Talking about the Chipotle bowl being 2,000 milligrams, yeah, and they do give out way too much rice. It's hard accepting the fact that you don't want to do good for yourself. Easier to blame. I think that's a very, I think that argument, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. I'm telling you, I am being compassionate toward the fact that it's not a self control problem. It's not, because if it was a self control problem, it wouldn't be as pervasive as it is in today's society. And it's not a matter of self control. The food by they when I tell you, and this is what's legitimately scary, these corporations are deliberately making the food addictive. That is not, you can't be so dismissive of that. And then you're expecting the average person to know this stuff. It's not a matter of finding comfort in food. It's not. I'm telling you, the food in of itself is changing your brain chemistry. Like, all it takes is for you to eat it a couple of times, and it starts already rewiring your brain to prefer it over normal food. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. That is just how powerful many of these additives are in food. Like, I didn't even know that Frito-Lay years ago, this was like decades ago, um, they changed up their whole entire lineup of their potato chips and deliberately started adding more additives to them and flavorings in order to increase the hyperpalatability of the chips to sell more chips. You can't have water instead of soda. That's crazy. Blaming ads and government. What are you talking about? This is studied. This is not. This is not hyperbolic. This is not. What do you mean? That's the whole point of advertising. If the corporations, why do you think they just spend billions of dollars just because you get sold all the time? You on TikTok right now, addicted. I'm telling you, it's all. This is what corporations do. They spend a lot of money on consumer products, consumer product marketing. Like, they know how to make people addicted. This is the whole purpose. Like at one point they had to have regulations on advertising toward children. Why do you think, even like with cigarettes, the government had to step in and actually stop cigarette companies from marketing, from using cartoons, because, and that was deliberate. That was deliberate on the part of multi what do you call it? The big tobacco companies. Like, they have nefarious intentions. What about diet soda? That too. I'm telling you, it's all by design. But at the end of the day, it's still your choice. No, it's not. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's not. People don't have that much free will or agency over their decisions. That's the whole point. If it was just that easy, nobody would be eating it. I think it's very easy, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I think it's very easy to want to blame other people because I think it, in a way, you kind of get a rush off of wanting to, in a way, kind of feel better about your own decisions and that you feel empowered. Well, let me backtrack here for a moment. I think a lot of people get it. It clearly is a thing to where you. How can I say this without sounding crazy? A lot of people want to be able to just poke fun and mock bigger people, or play this blame game, and you are the one blaming other people. Who am I? I'm blaming it's the I'm better than you complex that feeds other people's ego. That exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like people are just being so illogically reductive about this. It's like if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Like, come on, get real. Clearly, there's something going on, and it's more than just a lack of free will, and or you don't have, you're undisciplined, or you're just lazy, or you're just this, or you're that. Clearly, there's something going on, because clearly, this isn't just a personal problem. This is a societal problem that you even see now playing out in other countries. Like when I tell you that these numbers are explosive in other countries, it is very alarming. And this is only happening with the introduction of like fast food restaurants. And it's not even just something as simple as, oh, you just have a food addiction and that's the reason why. And no, a lot of people, a lot of people will find themselves addicted to eating hyper palatable food because the foods of them, the food in of itself, it's a cultural problem. Humans always given to easy pleasure. Food is one of them. Yeah, but I think you're making it seem like that somehow or another is a bad thing. That's just the way our brains evolved. The food environment that we live in is not normal. It's not. You're not. It wasn't in nature. If you had to live in the wild right now, you lived in a hunter-gatherer society. If you were a hunter-gatherer living in just a raw, open nature, first of all, you would be in bed already. You wouldn't be on TikTok. You wouldn't have a cell phone. You would literally be inside of a tent or a hut, whatever, getting sleep, so you can wake up the following morning and spend the rest of your day grazing for food, looking for tubers, berries, leaves. Occasionally, you might find a small animal here and there, and that's it. You're literally eating what you can find. But in our modern food environment, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We don't. We don't. We do not have to worry about that. And that in of itself is facts. Goats and other food was traded as currency, LMAO. Well, what you're referring to is the very beginnings of the agricultural revolution and the development of like cities and small villages where people would, there was intertribal, you know, trade and whatever. But I'm talking about before that. like clearly there's a problem going on to where the modern food supply. And listen, uh, with with RFK, sugar did not exist. I don't know. People were eating sugar cane, honey, but as far as processed sugar, but yeah, moralizing weight loss and fat loss, no, that ain't it. Nah, I'm beyond that now. I think I think I think trying to to demonize people and poke fun at people and call people, it's no different than, in a way, rich people telling poor people you're poor because you made bad decisions and you just suck at life. Most people are poor because they probably were born in poor communities, and no, that shit. Why do people on Ozempic lose weight so fast? Not everybody lose weight. I think that's not true. Some people don't lose. Some people don't lose weight at all. Actually, I think, if I remember correctly, the study showed that with Ozempic and all the other weight loss drugs, the average person loses like 20% of their total body mass. Poverty and weight gain are not a death sentence, though. For most people, it is. Shit. If you were born if you were born in hyper poverty, more than likely you're gonna have a hard time getting out of that. And then you also got to deal with information asymmetry. Not everybody has access to the same information that everybody does, which helps inform decisions and gives people agency to make the best decisions early on in life in order to get out of their situation. If you can escape it if you try really hard. I mean, yeah, but trying really hard of trying to escape out of hyper poverty versus you just being like a normal. Like, imagine you gotta work hard to just imagine a situation where your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, the internet is a free place, Quan. You are so no nonsense on money but loose with food. Nobody's trying. What do you mean no nonsense about money? What do you mean by that? I'm confused. I'm literally, they both go hand in hand. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm literally telling you, if you're born in poor, if you were born poor, you more than likely are not going to have it easy getting out of poverty. That's literally what I just said. It really starts at home, especially if your parents have no discipline. But what if your parents don't know any better? This is something else too that people don't want to talk about. I mean, at a certain point, I think people have unrealistic expectations about parents because I mean, they don't know any better either. Shit, they're just as ignorant as everybody else around them. I mean, at a certain point, people got to realize you expecting parents to have it all figured out. What if your parents only know so much? Quan, you have to really be really, really out of it to not know what is healthy and isn't. Listen, I'm telling you, when you work, and I used to work in community health, you will be surprised. I'm telling you, a lot of people just don't know. They don't know. They don't know. A lot of people don't know. I'm telling you. I think you all are really underestimating the amount of uneducated and semi-illiterate people that exist in American society. There are a lot of semi-illiterate, undereducated, poor people that live in American society. And well, I shouldn't say poor. Not even just poor, just people, everyday people who you see walking down the street. What about Quantavious and Martavious, black boys that didn't know? Right. This is a good, I'm going to give you a good example of what I mean. And I used to work in housing projects, and they can still access. How? Where? How? Where? How? Tell me how they're going to still access the internet. Tell me how you can easily access the internet. Because not everybody, I was questioning them before. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just be talking shit. I just be talking shit. And I just be saying shit just to piss people off. But the truth is, most people, most people have no control or agency over their lives. They don't. I'm not going to sit back and pretend anymore that it's just a matter of, oh, you got free will, you got agency. No, a lot of people just, listen, count yourself. The fact that you were even born in America during this particular point in time in human history, you are lucky. And that is not divine providence. That isn't you're just blessed. No, you got lucky. People have control over what they put in their mouths at homes. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess, but then not really. No. Mm-mm. I think you're simplifying the situation way too much. I'm telling you. Now there is a cultural component to all of this. There is a cultural component to all of this. But I think to sit back and just to demonize people who are bigger is no different than the same arguments that's used to demonize people who are poor. It's the same thing. Those two things go hand in hand. And it should be of no surprise that there is an intersectionality between obesity and poverty. Like you can see actually high rates of obesity in some of the most impoverished places in America. And that's not an accident. That's by design. Straight up. And let me tell you, the government, they know. People self-medicate their trauma with food. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. We just talked about that. No. I think when people try to use that argument, what they're trying to do is therapize, when actually in reality, I'm telling you, the modern foods. I want to read something to you guys because I don't think y'all realize that these modern food companies. Let me tell you, you know what? Another issue that's not being talked about enough either: microplastics and forever chemicals, PFAS and PSAS. These chemicals are endocrine disruptors, and they directly contribute. You know, there's an actual correlation between environmental pollution and insulin resistance, diabetes. The amount of endocrine disrupting chemicals that literally is poured out into the environment is actually messing with people's metabolisms. Some people do self-medicate with food. You can watch My 600 Pound Life and see that. Yeah, but that that to me, honestly, that what they're dealing with, honestly, is some form of brain damage. I think most of those individuals. That's why I never found My 600 Pound Life entertaining, because I can almost guarantee you there is something going on inside of those people's brains. Like, you don't get that big unless you have some sort of damage to certain parts of your brain that regulate your appetite. Because your hypothalamus, that actually regulates your metabolism, your sense of appetite, and that controls like leptin and your fat cells and insulin, and it's a whole different ghrelin. There's all these different hormones that all work hand in hand in order to. There's some sort of dysregulation going on inside those people's brains. That's why I've never found those shows to be entertaining, because I'm like, clearly these people have a brain disease. And that's essentially what all the research is leading now to, showing that obesity is a brain disease. And you know what's also contributing to this brain disease? Ultra processed foods. Now that's scary to know that these corporations know and have the research clearly demonstrating that their products are directly contributing to the obesity epidemic by essentially tearing apart people's brains. This shit should be investigated. Brain disease like an emotional response? No. Brain disease that the food in of itself is literally rewiring parts of your brain. And then shrinking parts of your brain. Like, it's actually causing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Mark. That's what I'm trying to get them to understand. They sitting up here thinking that it's just emotional. No, all of this shit, there's different parts of your brain. There's your prefrontal cortex, your hypothalamus, your parietal lobe. There's all different parts of your brain. And there are chemicals that's in the food supply that can actually fuck with your brain. It's like with drugs. Alcohol does the same thing, and it's the government allows it to be sold. I'm convinced the corporations have psychiatrists behind the scenes working with. Listen. Uh, their excuse is that you have the choice to buy the food or not. Exactly, and that's what they love saying. But they literally are saying, okay, we're going to create all this food, and we're going to add all these additives and ingredients and all these things, preservatives, all these flavor enhancing ingredients and stuff to the food. But then we're going to turn around and say, well, you have the problem because you don't know how to control yourself, despite the fact that we have actually added chemicals to the food to make you addicted. That is so crazy. That is insane. Yeah, it's gaslighting. It's fine. I'm telling you, these corporations do it. They do it. That's no different than what do you call it? I actually could, but alcohol is addictive. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. Alcohol is addictive. There are people that listen. I can also explain something to you guys. For some people, all it takes is a couple of drinks, and their brains are instantly rewired. You see this happening with other hard drugs. Now, in my opinion, I think alcohol should be banned. I don't drink. I do not mess with alcohol. And I stopped using. Let me tell you something else too. Y'all gonna be in for a world of surprise. There's a lot of people out there addicted to that Mary Jane. Who do you blame for addictions? I, I don't blame people for that, to be honest with you. I blame society. I blame corporations. I don't think the government. Uh, no. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. Same thing even with drugs and alcohol banned for, yeah. They start making alcohol in the tub again. They ban it. Same, and yeah, social media. Literally, y'all, they literally, social Facebook Meta literally hired. The fact that they went and hired motherfucking gamification experts from the Las Vegas casino industry in order to figure out a way how to make the apps more addictive. Y'all don't find that to be crazy? That is insane. That is insane. But this is a real thing. Like, this is actually a really big subject in business and marketing. It's making addictive products. Like, I actually want to read this book. Yeah, they did, Queen. Yeah, literally. This happened. This is one of the reasons why there's a share button, a like button, all this other type of stuff. I told you, Quan, it's a physiological warfare. They want you to keep control. Yeah, I'm telling you, all these multinational corporations are evil. They are evil. And listen, they got to make money by any means necessary. You got to understand something, guys. Once you become a publicly traded corporation, your incentive, every year, quarter after quarter, you have to increasingly show that you are growing your profits by any means necessary. Whether that's acquiring new companies, coming up with new products, and see what happens with a lot of corporations. They hit an innovation wall. They stop innovating because they can't figure out what else to create in order to beat out their competition and to create a monopoly. So you know what they started doing? They started figuring out ways of how to increase monetization opportunities on their pre-existing product lines. And that can also mean in some instances figuring out ways of how to make you buy more as a consumer or consume more as a consumer. Now, in some instances, some of these corporations, if they've maxed out completely in terms of consumption from their customer base, that's when they start figuring out ways of how to like decrease the quality of the product. Well, decrease all the raw costs that go into producing whatever it is that they make. Cheaper ingredients, cheaper materials, replacing human labor with automation, AI. A lot of times when you got these companies out here making record-breaking profits, and yet they're firing people. That's all deliberate. They're doing that because that's how they're going to continue to show Wall Street that we're making money. Another thing that they do is if they can't do any of that, then that's when they start engaging in other. They start engaging with what do you call it? Figuring out ways how to lobby the government to give them more ways of how to what do you call it? Create monopolies and shit. Like with this whole TikTok ban. You really think this TikTok ban is happening because of the national security threat of TikTok to Americans? No, they're doing this because Meta and Google have been actively lobbying Congress behind the scenes now for almost 2 years to ban TikTok because TikTok is an existential threat to Google, mainly to YouTube and to Facebook and Instagram, but more so to Instagram and Facebook because those apps, they're already on their last limb. YouTube, not so much because YouTube is growing their profits year after year, but Instagram and Facebook, yeah, yep, it's the new Hollywood. You want to hear something else that's crazy too about these multinational corporations across the board? A lot of Instagram and some TikTok, yeah, but you know what the next big frontier is for Wall Street? You know what they're coming for now? And be prepared, be strapped in. You know what they're coming for now? Public schools. You're already starting to see it happen. This whole voucher movement. They finna bust that shit up. When them white folks get their hands in these venture capital firms and these motherfucking private equity companies, get their hands on the public school system, it is over. You know how much untapped the whole entire public school market is probably worth hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillion. Because think about it. You know how public schools are funded? Through property taxes. 90% of your property tax bill goes right back to public schools. That is a huge amount of money that Wall Street wants to get its hands on. And they're already setting it up with um, the eradication of the Department of Education. There's money to be made in education at the K through 12 level when you start getting rid of private schools. Because then what you're going to start seeing is the rise of private equity companies that are known as education management corporations. They tried doing that here in Chicago. Like you go to Philadelphia, in New Orleans, most of their public schools now are charter schools. Those charter schools are managed by private corporations. Yeah, I'm telling you, y'all, motherfucker, white folks trying to make money on everything, on everything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Fast food is addictive for a reason. Fast food, media, movies, television shows, the clothes you wear, even fucking everything. We live in a capitalistic hellscape, for real, for real. And you got two options to make. You got two options. You either get in where you can fit in, or you just figure out a way how to live like a monk. Go move to Thailand or Laos or motherfucking Cambodia and go become a Theravada Buddhist monk. And just tune out. But you're going to have to participate in this capitalistic hellscape, whether you want to or not. Do you think Jimmy John's is considered healthy in terms of fast food? Um, well, let me just say, I have not been to Jimmy John's in years. I might go there tomorrow. I might want to try them tomorrow. I don't like them because every time I've ate them, I used to get like really bad stomach aches and shit. The way they just be having that meat sitting out all day long like that, that shit used to tear my motherfucking stomach up. Jersey Mike's to me is a little bit better. But as far as healthy fast, there's no such thing as quote unquote healthy fast food. There's really no such thing as healthy eating, period. Uh, I'll tell you, I didn't know this until recently. Clean eating is considered an eating disorder. It's called orthorexia. Because there is no consensus of what clean eating is. But I will tell you that the general consensus is to avoid eating ultra processed foods or at least minimize the amount that's in your diet. Don't eat too much saturated fat. Eat healthy whole grains, fruits, vegetables, lean meat. So you do with that, you know, information, you know. But if you go to Jimmy John's and you get a sandwich, I mean, if you don't pig out, you get like you know, a sandwich that's like no more than like 400 calories, 500 calories. I don't see anything wrong with it. I will tell you where something else too that a lot of people don't realize. This whole idea of the 2,000 calorie a day. I think a lot of people don't. I didn't know this until recently, and I feel ashamed that I'm even admitting to this. But um, everybody has a different base of caloric needs. So when you hear this idea being thrown around that nobody should be eating no more than 2,000 calories a day, that's a bunch of bullshit. It depends on a wide variety of things. It depends on your age, your height, your physical activity levels, genetics. Um, some people need way, like, not some, a lot of people. The average man, even a man that's like about 160 pounds, 170 pounds, moderately active, should be eating in the ballpark of around 26 to 2,800 calories a day to maintain his body weight. And there are men out there who are, you know, they get high amounts of physical activity because of their jobs, and they can eat around 3,500 calories a day and not gain a single pound. And they weigh about 175 to 180 pounds, 5'10", 5'11". It depends. So I think this is another thing that makes nutrition so complicated, because not everybody knows the exact amount of calories that they should be eating in order to maintain a healthy body weight. Like, you could take two men, one guy be 300 pounds, but both men weigh 300 pounds, and same height, same age, and one guy, it might take him about 4,500 to 5,000 calories a day to maintain his body weight, but the other man, he eats more than 3,500 calories and he starts gaining weight. One meal from McDonald's is 1,500. People still be hungry after. Um, that depends on what you get. 1,500 calories, yeah, that sounds about right. Because if you get like a Big Mac, the Big Mac is usually about what? Probably like 550. It's probably anywhere in the ballpark of 500 to 700 calories. It's probably like 600 calories for a Big Mac sandwich. And then the fries is like another, probably like 300 to 400 calories. No, that's about that. If you're just talking, if you include a drink, then yeah. If you're including a drink, then it's about 1,500 calories. I have not been to Sweet Green. What is that? I think I've heard of it, but yeah, it is trial and error though to find the right amount of calories you're supposed to be eating. Have you tried to lose weight, Mac? Have you been like you've been overweight before in your life? Oh, you're a cybersecurity engineer. I'll be going and let me look at some of you guys' profiles and shit. Damn, I'm cold. Shit. I'm about to get off live soon though. God damn. But yeah, I was 200 in January. I'm down to 165 now, trying to get to 140. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Keep going. What's your ideal goal? Oh my god. What happened to my other account? I got kicked off of TikTok again. I can't go live again until Thanksgiving. But I'm still tripping out about this whole skinny me thing. Like, I'm just so confused about that. I swear to God, every 3 to 4 months, there's always this controversy around looks and getting fat and people feeling so targeted. They're saying that they were saying that she wants to be skinny for proximity to whiteness, but it's plenty of fat ass white people. So I don't know why that is. That is not. No, that's crazy. Mm-mm. But you know what? Let me just say this. I can see why she. I can see why she thinks that. I did hear about this butterball controversy where they was having sex with the turkeys and stuff, but I don't fuck with turkey like that. Turkey is kind of low key nasty to me. But I want to show you guys something right quick. I'm gonna show you something. I've been seeing this a lot. I follow Myron Gaines on Twitter, and he posts a lot of crazy ass shit. Oh my god, I can't. Like, he posted this the other day. Like, every time a black person disagrees with him, he would post this, and what do you call it? He would post that and reply to people. He posts shit like this. Um, I've seen him. He posted this. In my band, I've seen him post this. He be posting some crazy shit. This. Now this one is kind of low key true though. He said, "Not me saving all these," but but he literally every time he gets into a debate with a black woman, he literally will post this. He would post this one. This the one right here. I'm like, who the fuck even made this? Like, for you to like just be willing. Oh, and then he posted this one, the Shaniqua. I'm like, this dude is crazy as fuck. For I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was just so disturbed, so disturbed. I'm like, why does he have these? Yo, Twitter be having some crazy ass shit. It was another one. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. It was another one. Oh, Now this one kind of had me laughing though. Somebody said, "Well, well, well." Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, well, well. No, he posted this one too. This is the other one that he had posted. I'm like, this dude, he has a really but you know what? He knows exactly what he's doing because he knows that it's very easy. Oh no, Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, the podcast. If you go to his page, he posts all of them on his. I'm like, how the fuck? Why do you even? And he spends all day long just responding to people with those memes that I just sent you, that I just posted. Oh, he's no, he hates black people, even though he's black himself. It's the craziest thing. But people be like, "Oh no, he's an Arab." I'm like, that no, he's Sudanese. That he's pretty much black. But he is hardly black. No, he's black. He knows he knows he's black. I mean, he's Sudanese. Like, he knows he's Arab, but he also knows that he's black. It's different. When you're Sudanese Arab, they know that they're black. They're because in the Arab world, trust me, when you are a Sudanese or Somali or um, Eritrean or you're from Djibouti or any of these East African countries, especially Sudan, you're not treated like an Arab Arab. They don't see you the same way. Because in the Arab world, you really, it's about that skin tone. They got a lot of racism in the Arab world too. Yeah, tons of racism in the Arab world. They don't see you as and he knows this too. And I think that's one of the reasons why he has the complex that he has. But I can see, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can see why he hates niggas because one thing that people like, one thing that Myron does, and I see a lot of other black men do this, is that they have a type, okay? And the type is they are attracted to your stereotypical black girl who has pretty much massive amounts of sex appeal, okay? But the black women who tend to be very, you know, tone and they have nice ass, they're shapely, they pretty much are very sexually attractive. They're going to be more so hood rat Tianas. Okay, I mean, and I hate using that term because it is somewhat of a pejorative, but it's true. They're gonna typically be hood rats, right? Or hood rat adjacent, and they don't like his type. They will find Myron to be too corny. Well, first of all, he's ugly. Okay, he's ugly. He's tall, lanky. He has a look though. I mean, he has a look that it gives, and I'm pretty sure at some point in time he has dated black women, but he definitely he has a type. He has type, and most of those guys in the red pill manosphere, they have a type. They like more of the OnlyFans section, like they pretty much want whores. And what's hilarious is that's something else too. He always talks about is whores, and but it's like no, you want the whore. You want a whore. Every man wants a whore. No man wants to be with some modest woman who is no. Men want whores. They love whores because you just know that you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get fucked and sucked the right way. They love whores, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. You just gotta match the vibration of what those women typically are attracted to. And typically with the hood rat Tianas that have that massive amount of sexual appeal, they like roughneck niggas. And Myron is not a roughneck nigga. He is a straight-laced, college-educated, Sudanese Arab black guy who became a fucking government employee working in law enforcement. He's not going to be attractive to a good number of black women. And the other thing is, he's DL. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, even if he was, he's still not that average hood rat type. I don't think he's DL. I don't think he is. I mean, who knows? You'll never know. Because people throw that out there. I'll tell you though, he has a type now, and but he actually has a Venezuelan girlfriend. I think he has a girlfriend. I think she's Venezuelan. But that hood, that black, and I think women hating men tend to be DL. Nah, that's not true. Let me tell you guys something. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of men consume his content and they believe what he's saying, especially about black women. They just not gonna say it aloud. They're not gonna say it aloud. Yeah, they ain't gonna talk. They ain't gonna say it aloud because they gonna play the game. They gonna be like, trust me, it's a lot of dudes watching his content, tuning into those podcasts. It's a lot of men that sit back, they listen to that shit, and they love that shit, but they just not gonna say it aloud. You said including me? No, he's too extreme. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's way too extreme. And the thing is, it's a class. I think he's not really addressing the class issue that exists. See, more upper middle class, or I should say more middle class educated black women are not, they're not, but then again, here's the irony, and I'm going to say something that's going to sound kind of crazy saying this, but what I typically notice is that, like, the more educated and more of the more educated and the more middle class a black woman becomes, the likelihood is that she's not gonna be as attractive. She's gonna be probably chubby, or she ain't gonna have that hood rat Tiana. She ain't gonna have that hood rat vibe. She's not. She ain't gonna. She ain't gonna have that shape. She gonna be a little bit of front. She gonna be frumpy. She probably go to church. She into Jesus. She love the Lord. And that's something else too that I think he's picked up on. But I just his approach though is very, but it's only unnecessarily harsh because I think, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, black women are the envy of all women. I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I agree with Bawdy my way. No. Like, let me tell you something. There's a lot of racist people out there. It is a ton of. When I say the vast majority of people are racist and they do not like black people, that's why sometimes I can't engage or I can't look at that content on Twitter, because some of the things that they post or I see people posting, like they legitimately think that all black people, regardless of class, are stupid. And the fact that Twitter pretty much is a safe space now for people to really express how they really feel, I can't look at white people the same anymore. And I'm not saying this is all white people, but racism is heavily tolerated in white society, more than what I initially thought. There are a lot of they project stupidity onto you too as a black person. Why you show intelligence? What do you mean? There are a lot of racist white people out there. It's a lot of them. They do not think that black people. They think most of us are dumb. Yeah, you got to be very careful. You got to be very guarding as a person of color nowadays, because many of them don't. They do not think, they tolerate that shit. Because let me tell you something. That's the reason. And let me tell you, I don't blame the conservatives or the racists. The racists, the conservatives, they are who they are. It's them white liberals. See, something that I've come to realize about this election, y'all gotta understand something. These white liberals got racist ass family members, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings. A lot of these white bitches are married to straight up um, men who are hardcore racists. These women. Let me tell you, my whole thing is they swear the country and they wanna fix everything. They ain't trying hard enough. They're not trying hard enough. They ain't trying hard enough. At the end of the day, you don't see them getting divorces left and right. You don't see them cutting off their parents. They still gonna have Christmas, Thanksgiving. They gonna invite them over and they gonna, oh, Papa, not right now. They gonna let them talk their shit. And oh, and trust me, they finna have a happy Thanksgiving. Trust me, they finna have a happy Thanksgiving. Because I can tell you right now, Come this Thanksgiving, Papa and Uncle Jim and Uncle Kevin. Yeah, the nigger bitch didn't win. Oh, yeah. I'll be damned. Trump is gonna come in and fix everything. Thank God that nigger bitch didn't win. They about to have a ball. They finna be tossed. They finna get drunk. They finna have a good ass time this Thanksgiving and Christmas. They gonna be, and they gonna be, and they just, that shit gonna be, woo! They gonna be so damn happy. I just got here and you're hitting the Republican verbiage. I'm telling you. And all the white women and all the other people in the family, they gonna sit back and just what? Roll their eyes. Exactly, T. Dot Marie. And not one liberal is gonna call them out. Exactly. That's my whole point. They ain't gonna be like, oh, here he goes again. And they know this. Their mamas, their daddies, their grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, whoever. Keyword some. I shoot. Some might go non-contact. But most of them, they gonna go on about business as usual. Now, what they gonna try to do is, let's not talk about politics, please, guys. Let's not talk about politics. Look, okay, Trump won. Yeah, they think a lot of blacks are low IQ, even the ones in power. Yeah, I'm telling you. They think this. That's another reason, too, when I be seeing black people talking about interracial dating and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. My original account is not gone. I deactivated it. But when they talk about, when I hear black people talking about interracial dating, and I'm like, listen, if you dating outside of your race, you dating a white woman, you ain't dating a white woman. You date what they call a mud shark. Those are the white people who date black people, and they are not seen favorably in white society. Most white people, they don't want your Negro features. They don't want your black skin. They don't want no type of mixing, none. Got to have a white salesperson even when firm or company is all black. LMAO. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you who black people need to mimic. We need to start studying the Jews. See, right now it's all this anti-Semitic. You know what I really do think black people need to do? We need to form an alliance with the state of Israel and Jews. We need to become Jewish. Fuck them Palestinians. Fuck them Arabs. We need to study. We need to link up with them damn Jews. Because listen, they ain't voted for Trump. The vast majority of Jewish people voted straight for Kamala Harris. So they was rocking with us, but the other white folks, nope. The vast outside of black women, who voted the most for Kamala Harris? Trust me, the vast majority of Jews, they're on our side. That's why I'm like, why are we sitting up here? No, I'm with the Jews. I'm with the Jews. Dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I'm with the Jews. Fuck that. They helped us with hip hop. They helped get hip hop off the ground. If it was not for Jewish people, there would be no hip hop. There would be no. The Jews literally, they have helped black people in so many ways than what we want to give them credit for. Civil rights movement, hip hop industry, Leor Cohen. Jewish people, they have really Jewish. They funny. They're some of the best comedians outside of black people. And let me tell you, they did not have it easy. They did not have it easy. The Jews